Good morning, everyone. Welcome,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Yeah, I want to welcome everybody to this Wednesday edition.
Hump day.
Yes, we need
Halfway
that
through.
camel walking through here
Yes.
yelling, Hump
Mikey.
Day. Yeah, yeah. I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
It's a good morning so far. Muggy,
Yes.
though.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is muggy out.
hmm
I mean, it was another case of running your wipers all the way down.
Yes. Yeah.
I just can't figure out. I've tried everything
hmm
to clear the windshield, and it just won't clear with this humidity out there. It's
It's
just like a
terrible.
blanket of, it's almost like frost on your windshield.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And
But,
the traffic was quite busy this morning.
yeah,
So I don't know what it is about the middle of the week coming down the road. It just seems like
I agree.
I don't know. Everybody decides to
hmm
go to work today or something.
or it's like they all, in the middle of the week, seem to be leaving their homes at the same time.
Right.
Because some mornings on my way here, there's nothing.
Oh yeah,
Because I
that
have to take the bypass and then have to
right.
merge on to get off on Huff. And then this morning it was like dodge the cars to try to get
Right.
over. Yeah,
Yes.
weird.
Yeah, it is kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know where these
Yeah.
people are all going at the same time. It's like at the beginning of the week, especially on Mondays, there's like no traffic. Like people don't want to wake up.
hmm
Like today, they acted like they were all running late. So I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh yeah, I had a
Yeah.
huge struck right
hmm
on my bumper as usual, and
hmm
I'm just like, "Ugh."
Yeah. I'm
And
just
it
trying to
just
merge in and nobody will move over. It's just a mess.
well, that's when I pull out
Yeah.
of my street
hmm
onto the main road.
hmm
I pull out to the right lane first, and then I gradually get over into the left, even though I've got like 3, 4 miles to go before I
Correct.
have to make a left.
Yeah.
Because if you don't on some mornings,
Yeah,
you'll
you
never
can't
get
get
in that
over.
left
Yeah,
lane. It's
I know. I know which
craziness.
way you go, and I agree with you
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Anyway, so how was your day yesterday?
Busy, busy, but good.
Well, I
Very
missed
busy.
you
Well,
yesterday.
I miss being here,
I
having
want to send a special thank out to Mike McHugh for being my co-host.
he did a good job. I
He's a
heard
hoot.
as I was driving to my appointment, which is out of town, I heard some of it and then
Right.
couldn't hear anymore.
And
But
we had our district
hmm
attorney, Ernie
I
Lee,
heard
in.
him the whole
And
time
the
he was in.
stories are
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
fascinating because between Mike and Ernie, they'll bring up cases that happened 20, 25
hmm
years ago. And as they're talking about it, the ding, ding, ding bell in
Yeah,
my
you
head goes
remember
off.
it.
I
Yeah.
remember that
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
especially the one in Maysville, the gentleman on the lawn tractor,
hmm
the farm tractor. I remembered it as they started talking about it, but he still has a lot of cases yet to go to court. So hopefully, hopefully Onslow will stay quiet and we can catch up.
Hope so. I know there's a few cases that are definitely people are
Right.
waiting
Yeah, there's
for.
a big
Yeah.
high
Yeah,
profile
very high
case
profile case.
that
Yeah.
involving a child that was
I really do.
murdered.
Yeah, that's the one of them. I have a client that follows that, and I really do believe that one's going to be. The courtrooms do have capacities.
Yes.
I think that case will be filled to capacity.
If they had gone to court a year or 2 years ago, I
hmm
would have thought that they would have had to move it out of county because I
Yeah.
think there was not a soul in this county that wasn't
hmm
ready to go down there and do some butt kicking.
Well, I think didn't they try to move it out and they were not successful or something? Because
I
that
don't
really,
really
honestly, with
remember.
that case, because that case actually made national news.
Yes, it did.
So there'd be really, honestly, nowhere you would be able to put that case that people didn't hear. Now, granted, it's here; it's more fresh in people's minds than it
Right.
would be somewhere else.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd want to be on that jury though.
I know I wouldn't want to be on that
Mm-mm.
jury. I don't think I could sit through it.
No, only yeah, I agree. And
It's very
I've only had
heart-wrenching.
one jury trial, and it was
Right.
actually a murder case.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was 2000 and wow, I think it was like 8 or 9.
I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna jinx myself on
Mhm.
this, but I have never yet sat on a jury all the times I was called.
Mine was a week trial. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I remember sitting in the court for a
Mhm.
week, and towards the end of the week, they called in more jurors to
Mhm.
poll and still didn't call me till Friday. And had been there since Monday.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of it is my birth name, my
Mhm.
given name, it confuses people on how to say it. I
Mhm.
think that's one reason they just kept shoving me to the back.
Yeah.
And then with the experience and dealings that I had working in a enforcement related field over the years, that was another one. I mean, and I knew I was going to get
Yeah.
excused, and I was like, can you pick me first? Save a few dollars. And it was like, no, you have to wait your turn. And it was like, sit there for 5 days to say you're excused. So,
I wasn't excused, shockingly enough, even though my, connection with Robin
right.
and the fact that this was a drug-related homicide,
Oh my
and I was
gosh.
a substance abuse
Oh,
counselor.
you were
Then,
you
and
were sitting
I
there the whole time with your stuff in your hand,
was
getting
like,
ready
"Come
to
on," I'm
leave and
thinking,
go
"Okay,
home,
yeah," and
weren't
they're
you?
like, they chose me. I'm like, "What? What? Really? Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
so
very,
much for
very
that.
surprised. I think nowadays, I think I would not be. I was called once. Um, since then for jury duty, but they dismissed me right as soon as they saw me. Like, yeah, she's out of here.
Yeah.
So I think
See ya.
now, yeah. But I know a lot of the attorneys and
Right.
stuff.
See,
So
back in those
yeah.
days, I knew a lot of them because as a private investigator, we had to do a lot of testifying on cases, child custody,
Mhm.
domestic, criminal, accident investigations. So I just worked for so many of them and knew so many of them. And that was another thing, too.
Well, I made a point to say, Robin and blah blah. I mean,
Right.
I had to say it,
Right.
and I'm at Summersby's count. They're like, "What do you do, Summersby Council?" Nope, I was shocked. Yeah.
Well, now, just because
Yeah.
I've never served
Mhm.
Onslow County, do not put my name in the pool. Do
You just
not
jinxed
pull
yourself
my
now.
name.
You totally just jinxed
I
yourself.
know I
Yeah,
did.
you did. You jinxed it.
Uh,
Um, Rayford, are you there?
Yes, ladies, I'm here.
well, good
How are you?
How
morning.
are you?
I'm fine. What's going on?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Oh, not a whole lot. Sounds to me like you're begging to be on the jury.
She
No,
is. She
no.
wants to be.
I don't know how we even got on there, but yeah, we
She
were
wants
talking
to be
about
because she jinxed it. She did. She's going to
we were
have her
talking
name
about our
pulled.
district
Yeah.
attorney being on here yesterday and the great stories he has.
And we're talking about high profile cases, and the Mariah Woods case is coming up. So
Yes.
yeah. So I told her she's
Sooner or
going to
later.
she'll get
Yes.
selected.
No.
And that'll be like I think that'll be like a several
I'm gonna
week
come in
trial.
wearing torn jeans and a torn t-shirt, my hair not brushed, and
Mhm.
no makeup. They'll say you're excused.
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the day though, where you had to dress nice to go
Yeah.
to court? I can
Yes.
remember Judge Strickland sending a guy home
Mhm.
with a deputy
Mhm.
escorting him to change his clothes
I
because
see
he
that
came in
even now.
t-shirt and
Yeah.
jeans, and whoo, that
I've
judge went off on him.
I've seen judges, do that. But even now, I go to court with clients quite a bit, and I watch people come in there, and I'm thinking, seriously? Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'd always heard my mom always said, if you ever have to go to court, which you better not have to, but if you ever do, you go dressed like you're going to church. Well,
That's
some
right.
people, nowadays churches aren't dressy like they used to be,
No.
but some of the things people show up in court wearing, I'm thinking, why? Come on. I mean, because if I was a court appointed attorney, I would tell my client, look, I don't care if you got to borrow an outfit from somebody. Look presentable, look decent.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on. So that's
Back
how I
in the
feel about
day,
it.
you can imagine just some of the ladies that,
Yeah,
and I've used the term loosely,
I know what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
who were arrested and
Yeah.
how they showed up for court.
Oh yeah. Well, some of them still do now, just how they show up. I even saw somebody recently in pajama pants, and I'm thinking, there's no way you don't own a pair of pants.
Right.
Maybe not
Yeah,
a
I
clean
can get
pair.
it. You want me to go
Yeah.
get it?
So, I mean, so what have you been up to? What you been doing?
Oh, just
Diving?
kind of sitting around.
Mhm.
Our buddy Charles, he went fishing yesterday.
Mhm.
He went on a charter. And so I hung around the house here a little bit, caught up on some rest, caught up on some reading.
Okay.
And they caught some fish, some American red snappers, and a couple of mahis, and I forgot what else they caught, a few other things. So anyway, he had a great day. He had a blast.
Well, good. So, what are your plans for today?
I don't have plans until I get up and get moving.
Mhm.
Are you looking forward to coming home?
Yeah, with mixed feelings, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Um, so it was a trying condition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yesterday would have been his birthday, 77.
Oh no.
Oh no. Then it was not a good
Oh,
day for you yesterday.
No.
Yeah.
goodness gracious, that's sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got some the folks here from North Wilkesboro. I think I told you about
Yeah.
them. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been diving with us most of the time since they've been on island. Since he and Charles, they came in on the same plane
Okay.
and didn't know each other, of course. And
Isn't that crazy?
met him at the dive shop.
Wow.
Um,
Ended up being neighbors diving
we're
together.
only a couple doors down where we stay. They got a bungalow there. We got a house here, just 2 doors away, walking distance. And he's an avid diver. He's 77.
Wow.
I thought
wow.
I was old. He hasn't been diving as long as I've been diving.
Well,
but
I'm sure
he's a good diver.
I'm sure you can outdive him.
Mm.
Was he
You're
still there?
king
or
of
is
the
Has he
divers.
left Rayford?
I'm sorry, say again.
Is he still there, or has he left?
He and Charles are leaving today.
Oh, I knew Charles was leaving today.
Aw.
Okay. So are you not planning to dive the next few days?
I don't know. We got some folks moved in next door to us, got a family, and there's about 10 or 11, 12 of them, and
hmm
4 or 5 of them dive. So they said I could join them.
Okay.
Good.
So I may take them up on it for another couple days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I don't want you diving by yourself. That's why I'm asking.
that's all right.
So,
Well,
Right.
I don't
That's the
think you
difference.
will. It sounds like
don't make me have to fly down there and fight you. Yeah.
as long
So,
as you get the right flight, you're
mhm.
lucky you'd end up on the wrong
I'd end
flight,
up
the
I'd
wrong
end up in
country.
Timbuktu somewhere. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there is a Bon Air, Georgia, right?
Oh,
I
yes,
did
I
not know
do.
that.
I
did
do
not
know
know
that.
No, I did not.
Because I went to look up on air one time and it kept showing Georgia, and I was like, no, not Georgia,
I did not know that.
out of
Raven.
country.
Huh.
I knew that. Oh, yeah, she'd end up in Georgia.
That's where I would end
She'd
up.
be calling Robin tomorrow. Come get me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are you hearing about the tropics down there? What are they saying?
Well, they're not saying much.
Okay.
I'm looking at them.
Mhm.
And let me pull it up again here real quick. Like it's, uh, there are now 3 systems again.
Oh.
Yeah.
None of them are looking like they're going to have much impact.
hmm
None of them have become tropical storms or
Yet.
tropical depressions or anything yet.
Yeah.
We've got one. It's called disturbance number 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's had for the last 5 or 6 days 50% chance of forming into a cyclone of some sort.
Yeah.
That means tropical depression or
Right.
tropical storm. Doesn't necessarily mean hurricane. But from the Hurricane Center, it's shower thunderstorm activity associated with the area continued to increase and become less concentrated. However, recent satellite wind data indicate that the circulation remains elongated and lacks a well-defined center. There's nothing there,
Mm-hmm.
although environmental conditions are only marginally conducive. Additional gradual development of this system is expected and a tropical
Mhm.
depression likely to be formed within the next couple of days. The disturbance is forecast to move slowly towards the west-northwest, toward the adjacent waters of the northern Leeward Islands. See, it's still a heck of
Yeah.
a long ways
Oh
away.
yeah. Yeah.
The more information, it will be forthcoming. They're not making any long-range predictions for it.
Right.
Now, out there in the middle of the Atlantic, let
Mhm.
me get back to where it was.
Probably this one.
Probably that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Disturbance
Yeah,
number 3.
This the one is number
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
That's at this point in time. There's a possibility it's going to form, but which way it will go will be anybody's guess because it's just kind of hanging out there right now. And then number 2 just came off the
hmm
coast of Africa
Yeah.
this week,
Yeah.
yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some gradual development is possible. System could become a short-lived tropical depression over the far eastern Atlantic during the next couple of days. By late in the week, environmental conditions are forecast to become increasingly unfavorable for further development.
Mhm.
So-
Well, good news on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah, we
let's
got
see.
3 of them
Yeah.
out there. One of them is a possible,
Mhm.
but
Right.
it's not. You know,
That disturbance number 1.
Yep.
Yes. That's the one we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Mhm.
Now, I've listened to different forecasters that, everybody's got a
Mhm.
different view on it.
Yeah.
of course,
But like you, I go with the National Hurricane Center.
every time you'll be safer.
Yes.
The cone over the next 5 days of it would put it, but don't know what it'll be.
Right.
Yeah.
Tropical depression is up to 35 mile per hour. Let's see, tropical depression is up to about 35 miles per hour. Then
Yeah.
35 to 74 is a tropical storm, and 75 and above is a hurricane. So
Right.
they
Yeah.
don't think it can do that much. And over the next 5 days, if it goes in the direction they say, it will be east of the Bahamas.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at it
Oh,
now. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
because it's
And then-
expected to
westward.
turn.
And if it continues on the projected, let's say, call it a possible projected path,
Mhm.
and it continues to turn towards the west-northwest, then it will, it could hit North Carolina. It
Yeah.
could miss North
Yeah.
Carolina.
You
Yeah.
need
It
to go
could
out
hit
and buy your
there,
beans and weenies.
Yeah.
or it can get out there.
Get your bread milk.
in the next 2 days and
Right.
develop into something and then hang a hard right and go away.
Mhm.
That's right.
'Cause we're apparently got some stuff off the coast of off the coast of the
Mhm.
eastern US
Yes.
that is not very conducive for
Right.
this thing to form up.
Well,
So
good.
anyway, this
Well,
is
that's
not
good.
looking the worst in the
Mhm.
world.
Must have been all that go away juice we poured into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
What else
Well,
is going on? Big talk around here, in the house and out of the house, and everybody's like, "Really? You've got to be kidding!" Hunter Biden is the center of attention these days.
oh, yes.
Mhm.
Constantly.
Well, the DOJ and FBI are having some issues about him
Oh
now.
yeah,
So
Oh, yes.
I think now that cages are being rattled, you're going to hear people. The loyalties are dropping quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
they got one guy, a whistleblower,
Yeah.
that is giving them a lot of information.
Yeah.
And now the senators are calling for Facebook to turn over communications with the FBI over Hunter Biden's
Yes.
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Now you understand why
Yep.
we got banned on Facebook. So
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the FBI told them to ban us.
Yeah.
We were under FBI probe.
Well, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that the butt saving is about to begin. So the loyalty to Hunter Biden's about to fall by the wayside, and it's
Yep.
all about to tell it all.
Well, the other side, the right side has got to come up with something right now to start fighting back. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's going to be a war up to November 8th.
Yeah. We only got what's 10 weeks.
Yeah, we don't have much
goodness.
time.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Early voting opens October 14th, I think is what we said.
Something like
Something
that.
like
It's
that.
just, to me, it's still too early, but whatever.
Yes.
Hence, I guess the name early voting. And now the DOJ and the Trump camp are fighting it out over these. Now they're saying that they removed documents, and I don't know. It's just it's
Yeah,
getting
now they're
wackier and
accusing
wackier.
Trump of
Yeah.
trying to obstruct probe in the most detailed filing of the Mar-a-Lago raid so far.
Mm-hmm. So they're just.
Well, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't know what he did or did not do.
Mhm.
Believing it, I was hoping it would be left up to impartial investigators.
I don't think you
seeking the
can
truth.
find that. Yeah, I think impartiality has kind of gone out the window, regardless.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's going to be harder and harder because that would almost lead to believe Trump knew there was going to be a raid. If you read through the lines of that article, but they're all saying that they didn't know, and then how can you say they moved documents or whatever? Are they saying to move it prior to the raid? Because remember, his attorneys weren't even allowed in the room, so they couldn't have ran over here and moved this while they're doing that. So I just think it just gets wackier and wackier. And then don't forget, this weekend, a federal judge in Florida Saturday said she was going to, appoint like some kind of a special master in the case. I don't even know what that is, but
It's somebody who has no ties to either side,
Right.
and they're going to look at the evidence that's been gathered, or whatever the FBI will give them, and see what there is. I don't know if there's anything.
that's going to be hard to find ties at this point. But good luck with that. But that came out over the weekend, and I haven't heard anything else about it. But she did issue a 2-page order.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't heard anything else about it. I don't know.
Well,
maybe some ruling was made and just hadn't been reported on. That could very well be too.
You can rest assured that that side, the
Mhm.
DOJ, with how many lawyers do they have,
Mm-hmm.
is fighting it, and they're going to find another judge that will overturn that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
going to go
crazy
back
stuff.
and forth,
Yeah.
back and
Yeah.
forth, and so many things are going to open up, and so many
Yeah.
things are going to come out. So better just buckle up. It's going to get rocky
I think
here
it
the
is.
next
It's just
couple
crazy.
months.
I feel like we're in crazy town right now
Yes.
with this.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
The,
well, I just we
one
wait and
FBI
see.
agent
Yeah.
who'd been has retired, denies political bias. He's retired. He was involved in the Hunter Biden investigation.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So he's retired. He's hung up. So that's enough. I gotta get out of here.
Mhm.
So interesting note.
Mm.
Let's see, what is this other mess we got going on here? I don't see anything else that I want to talk about.
No.
No.
Well,
Neither
you
do
gonna do some
I.
weather?
Yeah, we're gonna take a break
Yes,
and do
we
some
are.
weather, do these commercials, and then we've got a guest in the studio. So
Okay.
yeah,
What do
Yes.
you have today?
well,
We have Jane Shermer. She is the director of the New River YMCA here in Onslow
Cool.
County.
Excellent. Good.
Yes.
Mhm.
Tell her has she got my swimming pool ready yet?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're going to talk
Mhm.
swimming pool.
mhm.
I'll try to check in with you tomorrow. Have a
Okay.
great
All right.
weekend.
You have
All
a
right.
great day too.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right, let's take our first commercial break of the morning. We're live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME will be back with weather. All right, and we are back, and we do have a caller holding, but let's get the weather done real quick first. So take it away, Lee.
Yes, most definitely. And today is the last day of the big sale at Tideline Marine. Towable tubes are marked down. And if you think you want to buy a new John boat or Bay boat, Tideline has a sale for any new boat currently in stock. $5,000 off of any new boat that you buy today. Today's the last day. Along with the savings, Tideline will throw in a bag containing 4 life jackets. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Today, west winds 10 to 15 knots, diminishing 5 to 10 knots late this morning and early afternoon, then becoming southwest late, seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 5 seconds. Thursday, north winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming east in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 8 seconds. And Friday, east winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet.
Today, mostly sunny, a high of 90. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 68. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 90. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 71. And on Friday, mostly sunny, high of 89.
Whoa.
That's not bad.
Yay.
All right, before we get to our guest caller, good morning. Who's this?
It's Doug. I'm calling just to kind of straighten out some of the confusion in the first segment.
All right, straighten us
So
out. Doug.
I know you have a guest, so I'll try to make this quick. First off, the special master that you were talking about, what happened was this weekend they came out and said, I'm leaning in the direction of authorizing a special master to look over these documents that were seized. I'm leaning, but I haven't ruled. Therefore, she says to the Justice Department, by midnight Tuesday or Wednesday morning, however you want to consider midnight, I need you to respond as to why I shouldn't do it. So what we saw yesterday, no special master has been appointed. She's just saying she's considering it. The document, the 40-page document that was released yesterday was in response to that special master. And now Trump's side has to respond to what was submitted today by 8 o'clock. And then tomorrow there will be a hearing for whether there will be a special master.
8
Okay.
o'clock a.m. or p.m.?
8 o'clock p.m., the Trump folks have to respond.
Okay. Okay. Well, good.
keep
'cause
us
I
posted.
All right.
hadn't heard anything, but I just
All
wasn't
right.
sure.
And then I think the hearing is then scheduled for tomorrow at noon or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
Keep
then
us
that's when the
posted.
decision.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the second part was you seemed a little confused as to these documents being moved. Again, this has been going on since Trump left the White House, where they have been saying, give us back these documents, give us back these documents. And at one point, I think it was in this, in January, he does give back several boxes, 15 boxes, which included 184 confidential documents. He returned those. We don't know why he took them, but he returned them. And then we came out in the summer and they said, we think you have more. Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't. We had an appointment at Mar-a-Lago to come out. And at that point, the Trump folks said, here's the storage room. Here's where we're keeping everything we took from the White House. And if you read what they submitted yesterday, they were not allowed to go through these boxes that were sitting in a storage room. What they said is, you need to have a padlock on this stuff. And what is in the document is prior to that visit, which was scheduled, the Trump folks knew that they were coming out. They have an inside source that said the Trump folks moved classified documents temporarily out of this room that they were going to show to the FBI and put them someplace else and then showed them the room now free of top secret documents. Are you following that?
Kinda. So they knew they were coming at some point.
They knew they were coming and that's why the raid happened was, wait a minute, they're shuffling documents around so we didn't see them on our visit. So that's why the raid happened. And the document said that after the first visit in the summer, they had put them back. And when the raid, unannounced now, happens, in fact, they did find the top secret documents in the place that they had been shuffled out of. And they also found some of the top secret documents inside the president's desk. And these include, and this is the real scary thing, is they included information on the identity of America's top spies all over the country, which is typically information a president wouldn't even care to have. You would want the reports from these spies, but why do you even need to know the identity? And what they're investigating here is that Trump had this list. He ordered it on, I think it was 2019. He ordered it 2 days before a visit with Putin. And what you are seeing is top intel figures saying, hey, we've lost a lot of assets, which when they say assets, what they're saying is a lot of our spies have been killed since 2019. An unreasonably high number of spies have been caught, captured, and killed. We are waking up to the very real possibility that our president was a spy for a foreign government. And that people lost their lives.
No.
I definitely don't believe
It's
that.
right there. It's right there in the 40 pages.
Yeah.
Fox is not going to report that. The right-wing media is not going to report this. But this is an espionage case. They would not have spent. He's going to be indicted. He would not have spent 40 pages in a document like that. Your guy is going to be indicted, and at some point, the right is going to have to figure out, who do you stand by? Do you stand by somebody who traded top secrets? Why in the world did he have these documents? Why in the world is he shuffling them around so the FBI couldn't find them in a scheduled visit? Why did he withhold these documents? And why? And by the way, these lists of assets, if you will, were still some of the ones that he did not return. That's just the facts. The speculation is we don't know. The speculation is that this information led to the death of these people. We do know that a high number of assets had been killed. How did that happen? And why is this guy doing with the information?
Well, my thing is, why does any president, I don't care who they are, have the names of the spies? No president.
Well, exactly. And most presidents don't need to know. Most presidents don't want to know.
But how do we know that the previous presidents didn't know?
Well, why would they want to?
Well, why would anyone?
Well, we don't. We know for a fact with Bush that he did not know that Valerie Plame was a spy. That somebody told Cheney. That was the whole big thing with the Bush administration about how they figured it out. They had no clue who the spies were in the Bush administration, and when they found out the identity of one spy, they then gave her up, which is another crime in and of itself. This president had a complete list of who the spies were. Why in the world would he have this?
There shouldn't even be a list. Let's just go with that. There should not even be a list.
The only thing I've got to say is there's going to be so many things come out, so many conspiracy theories, so many different stories.
I don't want to hear a conspiracy theory. I just want facts.
Yeah, there's
just the facts, Jack.
Yeah, as Rayford says, there's spies all over the country. Our spies don't work inside this country. They work all over the country.
That's why they're spies. They go to other countries. Yeah.
Good point, Rayford.
Why do we need spies in this country? We don't. We need them.
They're not in this country. They were in this country. These were foreign assets in other countries.
Well,
many of them were in Russia, and many of those are now dead. And can I say Trump is responsible for that? I cannot. I'm just reporting what we know. He had a list. He ordered the list in 2019. He has kept that list. We don't know why, and now some of these people on that list are dead.
But
that's the fact. You just want the facts. Those are the facts.
Do we really know what we know right now?
We know nothing. We never know nothing.
Nothing.
In the spy world, most people are in the dark, which I would rather be in the dark.
Right.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
We know nothing right now, and we probably will never know the whole truth.
I don't want to know. It'll make me nervous.
That's right.
I'd rather be head in the sand. Yeah.
That's the situation we're facing right now, and what you're seeing is what I've noticed is the argument is switched from I don't have these to okay, if I did have them, I declassified them. All those arguments that you've heard leading up to this point have been thrown out, and where we are now is you have people on the right, including Donald Trump. And by the way, this needs to be talked about too. Yesterday morning, in a period of 2 hours on his little Truth Media, Donald Trump sent out 60 tweets or truth messages, whatever they're called on that.
Are you on Truth Media?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But he sent out 60 certain messages, and in some cases, he retweeted stuff from QAnon. Here's the point I'm getting at. Some of the stuff he put out was so bizarre that by noon, Google said, we're not carrying Truth Media anymore. So if you have an Android phone, you can't get the app Truth Media.
I don't
So,
know
and it's
anyway.
assumed, well, but the point being, though, that he apparently went off the rails on this, and what you were and several of the messages he put out were a wink with a wink and a nudge, like Lindsey Graham did the other day, threatening violence. If you indict him, there's going to be violence. There's going to be violence. That's where the argument is right now. It's not that I didn't take these. It's not that I declassified this. It's, boy, if you indict me, there's going to be violence. This is not the party of law and order. They are now threatening violence
Well, I got a way to solve this whole thing. Get a warrant, make it for the entire Mar-a-Lago estate, make everybody leave the premises and go tear it up looking for these documents that may or may not be there. And if they're there, take them. If they're not there, then move on.
They do.
And let's
You
keep
really
going.
want to bring
They
up
do.
the
That's what happened on
problems,
August 8th.
but I want to shut this down. I mean, I want to be
Kelly.
able to
They'll be up there lined up.
Kelly, that's what happened on August 8th. That's exactly what you just described. Is they said he's not giving the things back. We need a search warrant, and the search warrant was only for Trump's portion of Mar-a-Lago.
That's what I'm saying. Toss it all, and let's end this nonsense.
They did. These documents.
Because they're saying the documents, some documents are still there. So let's go.
No. Gee, you're confused. They have been to Mar-a-Lago no less than 3 times.
Okay.
At least 3 times that we know about. In one visit, Trump shuffled documents around so they wouldn't be found. That's why the FBI did exactly what you said. They said, we need a warrant because there are documents he's not telling us about that we know he says. And they went in on August the 8th and they got those documents.
So they have them now, because I keep hearing that there's still more. Then why didn't they get the quote still more documents?
Well, they're saying the speculation is whether he's keeping them at Trump Tower in New York and in other locations. Are there additional documents?
So they didn't get them all.
Well, they're saying there could possibly be more. But what we know is that they had a total of, in the first time in January, after subpoenas and everything, Trump finally turned over 184 documents in January. Top secret documents and other stuff. 184 top secret documents in January, and what we know is in the raid on August 8th, according to this warrant, the FBI says they found an additional 100 plus more documents. So we're looking close to 300 top classified documents. Some of these, the highest classifications that are out there, including the identities of spies. So they did see those. That's not, we think these are out there. This is, we took them. We got them. He either gave it to us in January or we went in and forcibly took them in August. But they got these. This is not, we think they have them in these possessions.
Doug.
But now, okay, we got to take a break. That's for real. I got
we
to
have
take
a
a
guest
break,
that you're taking up her time.
Yeah, but I got to. Doug, we will rehash this tomorrow, so make sure you call in tomorrow morning because we're gonna talk about this again. I'm gonna do some research.
Yeah, we're both gonna research and we'll be ready.
Make sure you and my friend Littlefoot call in tomorrow because I hear him in the background. He's disagreeing with you.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess he
hung up. So, all right, let's take a break. Live and local, real talk. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back, and we have a special guest here in the studio this morning. We have Jane Sharma. I want to make sure I got the last name right. I knew the first name. I had to
I
get
didn't
the
know
last
if you were pausing
Sharma.
for me to say it.
No, I was
Okay,
trying to make
good.
sure I'm reading the right. I wanted to say her name right. She is the executive director of the Onslow County YMCA.
Better
So,
known as
yeah,
the New River
the New
Y.
River Y. Yeah. Better
And-
known as the Y, better
Yeah.
known as who knows what else. So,
Yeah, okay, right,
So, good
yeah.
morning. How are you?
I am fine to be here.
Well,
We're
we're
very
so
glad to
glad
have
you're
you.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been so excited since the Y did open up here in Onslow
Mhm.
County, and we'd like to know more about it, what you have to offer, what the purpose is, what the public can do for you, what you can do for the public. So, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with what it takes to bring a Y to a community. A community of leaders cannot just go out and, in
Mhm.
essence, buy a
I'm
YMCA.
gonna move that mic a little closer to you.
So what you have to do is actually go through Y of the USA,
Right.
and they will charter you, but you have to prove to them before anything is ever chartered that the community will truly support a YMCA.
Right.
Now, I can say this post-COVID, but pre-COVID, you rarely saw a Y shut down.
Mhm.
And part of that is the YMCA through history has been very nimble. And so the Y brand is very protective of the Y brand because once we go into a community, we do not want to leave.
Correct.
But you can't just buy a Y. So the effort that this community and some of the key leaders worked on even before 2019 when we cut the ribbon, they started, and the first effort did not fail, but it wasn't the right timing. And so when they circled back around the second time, the timing to bring a YMCA to Onslow County was absolutely perfect.
Right.
And we are part of Eastern Carolina YMCA. That's our corporate name.
Okay.
And we are a sister branch, if you call it, to the New River YMCA in Twin Rivers YMCA in New Bern.
Okay.
We are one corporation. And so we are very stable in the community. We have a bright future. And the thing about the YMCAs, I know we were talking before we went on the air, I want to give a little history about the Y so the community really understands what they have brought forward in this community, especially in the military presence. The YMCAs actually were the founders of USOs.
Oh.
And it was for the healthy entertainment and healthy needs during the war. And so that's where the USO and a lot of the dances in the past and all, the YMCA started the USO. And when you go back and you look into the history of the YMCA, it's really interesting. And I think it's timely right now where we are coming off of an extreme couple of past years with a lot of things, even beyond COVID in our country's fabric, that every couple of decades, the YMCA will keep its core values, but reserve the community with what is needed. And one of that piece is in the 1860s, 1850s. It was particularly after the country was at the end of the Civil War, as we have known it historically. A lot of young men were literally coming off the farms and coming back, but then moving to the northeast part of our country to do industry work. And that's where the first YMCA in the country was put, and that's the Boston YMCA, very historic. And so when you think about the Y meeting that need, and then one of the large parts that I think a lot of people listening will understand, late 1960, women had the choice of a different style of birth control. And so that came out in the 60s, late 60s. And then so in the 70s, women had a lot more choices and started going into higher education because it's not a fault, it's just our fabric. Women typically were homemakers, teachers, or nurses. And so that decade gave the Y the ability. And so in the mid 1980s, look at this country, we are the largest provider of childcare. And so the Y that
true.
decade stepped into it. So,
Right.
and to bring it up current to this Y and the history that we've had, I'm really proud of the way that we grew stronger during COVID,
Yes.
because we had the nimbleness as a Y. There's certain things you walk and talk as a YMCA, but you have a, particularly in every community, you have a fabric that only that community needs. And so as the executive director, I call it COVID Friday, March 13th. We, obviously the schools closed, and that had been a great week for us. I'll share a little bit about that.
Because I think you had just opened.
We opened October 2019,
Right.
October 24th, 2019. We started serving, though, in June of 2019. We were in 2 schools for our summer camps. And so, but we cut that ribbon, and COVID shut the schools down. And I'm aggressive enough. I'm a prior educator. I've been in the Y for 33 years, but I did not wait to see where funding was going to flow for the remote learning platform for our children. And so by July, it was a real gift to have conversation with Onslow County.
Right.
Onslow County drew down some of the CARES funding, and they pushed it forward to the YMCA.
Awesome.
So the YMCA, we legally operate. I'm not insinuating that anybody didn't do it legally, but to get a higher level of remote learning platform, we actually signed contract with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And so we partnered, we had it at the YMCA building, and we had it at 2 churches, and we were serving about 300 children a day. And then when the children went back to school, the virtual learning platform, we stayed with virtual learning children until the very end of the school year in the spring of 21, the summer of 21, because I think parents found it harder than they thought for their children to be virtual.
Yeah.
And we served a pretty large middle school population, which was kind of organic. We didn't plan it, but we reached into, I can't say enough about Swansboro Middle School and the leadership that they had down there. The principal would come over to the church that we were using a couple times a week, see his virtual kids. It was amazing. Amazing.
Let's take a very quick break. This is Live and Local Real Talk. If anybody has any questions for Jane about the YMCA, about the future, what the plans are, etc., just give us a call, 910-333-0139. We will be right back. All right, we are gonna take about less than half a minute, real quick, and then we've got to go into our 8 o'clock hard Fox News break. So, and like I said, if anybody has any questions about the Onslow County YMCA for Jane, give us a call. And once again, our number is 910-333-0139. Because while our Y is small currently, it's growing, and I have a really big feeling, or maybe I just have this vision
Envision,
of
yes.
what I think
It's
it's
going
going
to
to be.
grow.
I could just see it being like the Y in my hometown, which is huge. I just have, and believe me, my population's nowhere near the population of Jacksonville, even just Jacksonville alone. So if my little hometown can have one, I can just see Onslow County having a
Well,
very,
I'm
very
just
big
sitting
one.
here going through the website and looking at their list of supporters and their board of directors and their advisory board. I mean, these are leaders of our community, pillars
Absolutely.
of our community that are out there supporting the Y. And I'm sure having such leaders, they're going to take this
Oh,
very
I
far.
can. I see. I know what's coming, and I think that it's
Right.
awesome, and I love it, and I'm excited. So, all right, let's go into our 60-second Fox News break. We're live in local real talk. 60 seconds, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back, and we've got Dr. Rose coming on in about 5 minutes. But until then, we have got James Sharma, the executive director of the Onslow County YMCA. So, Jane, what else? What else do you want to tell us about this? There's a lot. So,
Yeah, and I started out with a little bit of background and history because I think it's important that the community knows the depth and the girth of
Absolutely.
YMCA.
Yeah.
But where we are today, I'll start with some of the work that we've done already. I talked a little bit about the virtual platform. During COVID, we actually contracted with North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, and we had 3 remote learning centers with about 300 kids a day in 3 places.
Wow.
And so we stepped into it. We didn't back off and shut down. We aggressively sought the leverage to fund remote learning. And we were able to, any child that came into our remote learning centers, it was only $30 a week,
Right.
which is amazing. And so
Yeah.
we had them pretty much 3 days a week because of the cohorts, especially in the elementary platform. But that really catapulted us forward. I think it showed the community that we were strong and we were pivotal and nimble. And so right now, being the 3rd day of school, in the mornings, we're serving in 14 Onslow County elementary schools. And in the afternoons, we're in 10 Onslow County elementary schools. And as of this morning, we were at 800 plus children.
I love it.
I do too.
I
That is
love it.
awesome.
Yes.
So, and that's a partnership with Onslow County Schools. When the Y came into the community, they wanted a provider for their programs, and the Y stepped up, and there was a partnership forged there. And part of our partnership now continues with. We have a special school. It's called 21st Century Grant. It's federally funded, and it flows down through the Department of Public Education here in North Carolina. But last year we wrote the grant, and it's a competitive grant, and we actually submitted for the full funding amount, which is $400,000 a year for 3 years. And last year, when we wrote the grant, we were fully funded. We got $400,000
Nice.
that flowed into Clyde Irwin School,
Mhm.
and it's an
Awesome.
arts academy.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
That's what
wow.
we were
Yeah.
talking about before. And
Yeah.
that, I love seeing
Mhm.
arts coming back into the school because I think it's so
Absolutely.
important.
Yes.
Yes.
We contract with Riverwalk Ballet and
Yes.
Jacksonville Performing Theater,
Mhm.
and then we have the visual arts, and I'll talk more a little bit about it because we hope to maybe bring another 21st century to another school in the county. As of last Friday, we had to ask for the second allotment of $400,000.
Mhm.
We now have been approved as of Friday for a second round of $400,000.
That's
Yay.
awesome.
That is so
Awesome.
awesome.
Now, going
Yeah.
back, I know that the YMCA is a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you rely on your donations and fundraisers and anything that our elected representatives might be able to squeeze out of the state budget.
Yes, we have a balance of earned revenue, what's called earned revenue. That's through program fees and things like that. But because of the funding that we receive from various streams, from private donors, from foundations like North Carolina Community Foundation and some of the other, we have a trust, an anonymous trust partner. If you have something that is worth the fortitude, why our Y has been overly blessed with contributed funds.
Good.
So,
Well, when we come back, I think it's
Mhm.
probably Dr.
It
Rose,
is.
we'll talk about how I
Yeah.
can donate and
Absolutely.
what we can do to help.
So currently we have Dr. Rosemary Stein on the line. Dr. Rose, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning to everybody.
Good
Good morning.
So how are things up there?
It's doing pretty well. Well, I do have to mention that for the past maybe 5 days, it came back on Monday night. I was visiting longtime friends, almost family, up in Canada, in Quebec.
Oh,
I would live there as an exchange student. So I got to see what the clinic was doing yesterday. There is some illness, but the days before that, I was wandering around in a different part of the world.
wow. I bet the weather was a lot cooler up there than here.
It was actually 49 degrees one night.
Whoa.
So
Oh, my.
it was kind of cool, but during the day it gets very warm. I
Mhm.
thought it almost gets, in a sense, warmer than here. That I could feel that sun a little stronger
Mhm.
than I do here, quicker. So within I would say 5 to 10 minutes, I felt like it was burning. Maybe because of where we were
Yeah.
in latitude. I don't know, and I hadn't thought about that before.
Now, how are things been with North Carolina kids? What are you seeing? I mean, we're on day 3 of school starting. Are you seeing anything already, or what's happening?
No, we're seeing a lot of quick reactions or sort of dismissals from parents mostly. So kids are kind of sick and they're going into school, and I want to urge parents to make sure you check over your kids. First of all, don't assume that they wake up and they're fine. Make sure you take a look at them. You sit with them, observe to see if they're sniffling or congested, or all of those good things. Because we certainly don't want to. First of all, it's not fair to the kids to send them to school sick, and the second thing is that it's not fair to his classmates and his teacher to do that. So unless we pay attention, sometimes we don't know. You would not believe the number of phone calls that I get. They called me from school because he's running a fever, or because he has a pounding headache that's 7 out of 10, et cetera, or he has a rash and it's oozing. And we're like, but go pick him up first.
Yeah.
And then report. You can't call me because the teacher called and you're freaking out now. Go take a look, survey what's happening, and then give us a call back. But the thing about it is that the way to prevent that whole situation and parents freaking out and not knowing what to do about the situation is you make sure that every morning you or your spouse wakes up and gets the kids up and takes a look at them not just to see if they're healthy, but to give them a nice going away. To say, okay, kid, I love you. You're going to do well. All that kind of stuff. And I think there's too little of that because the kids are floating around in their own world. So for mental health issues and also for physical reasons, that's just a good thing to do.
Now that school is back in session, something that we don't talk a whole lot about, but I think it needs to be talked about, is head lice. Give some tips for parents on that, because this majority of kids contract head lice at school.
Yes.
So let's be real about that.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Rose, give parents some tips on what they can do to prevent this.
Well, first of all, head lice does not like to live with there's short, combed hair.
Yeah.
So if your child has long hair, they really should go to school with it tied up.
Okay.
All right. I think that's really good. If tied up as in, in a ponytail or something, because they can't get to it as much.
Okay.
They really do hold on to it like they're rope climbers.
Mm-hmm.
So if the lice gets into that hair, it just goes up the hair like it's a little piece of rope and gets into the scalp.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you avoid that? Well, you have the least amount of it all over the place. So a good comb is probably a good prevention. These are things I just think about when I look at kids who usually have lice. They're the ones with the hair that's all over the place. So the tighter you keep that hair, the less the chances, especially when they're going to school and they're exposed to a whole bunch of other kids. And remember, kids are kids. They're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
They put their heads on their desk. Somebody else puts their heads on the desk, and they touch something and they scratch their hair and they happen to have a net, and there you go. You have an infestation.
What parent has not had a child come home from school with head lice? I mean, there's
I know.
You've never had one?
No.
My daughter
kids
did when
never
she
came
was
home
little.
from school, but they've, knock on wood, they never came home from school with head lice. No, I was lucky with that.
Mine did one
Yeah.
time. There was an outbreak at
Yeah.
Morton Elementary. And
Yeah,
of course,
I
she
did,
had to
yeah.
be one. No.
And one of the reasons that all of our medications are not working, and we have to put stronger and stronger anti-parasite medication on these kids' scalps, which could, they could affect them because there's some absorption, is because we as parents, specifically us as moms, do not have the patience to make sure that we go through that head
Mm-hmm.
and we painstakingly, I have to add that word, remove every single little louse and look through it and comb out the nits. When you do that, and then the next night you do that, and the next night, and you're just screaming inside. It takes that much patience to do it. But when you do that, you will eliminate eventually the lice from this kid's head, which will save a lot in aggravation and not being able to go to school. So
everybody's in here scratching right now.
Well, the parents also have to wash the bedding.
Yes.
You have to wash bedding, pillows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bedding, even, if you dry your hair with your towel,
Mm-hmm.
your towel has to be all washed with very hot water, because otherwise you come back. They do live on surfaces for a little while, maybe a few hours, but we're not sure exactly, when the cutoff is, so that you're best off every day that that your kid has it. The risk of getting reinfected by washing everything in very hot water and putting it back on. Yes, it is time consuming, but it will alleviate a lot of pain and frustration in the end.
Well, let me ask you this question. My dearest friend in the world is a teacher in another county here, and she is actually in high school. But on the first day, the school, just started there. But on the first, she's in Rockingham County. But on the first day of school, a student came to school, which, she's been teaching like 30 years, so with what was clearly scabies.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what makes me itch just thinking about it. How often are scabies found in kids?
Oh, it's very frequent. It's very frequent, especially in the summer, and you get visitors from somewhere else, and and the kids sleep together because it's a summer vacation. And then us as parents, again, we're not paying attention. The kid's scratching. You think it might be something else, might be poison ivy. But scabies is incredibly contagious. And a little bit of difference that you will find in kids with scabies is that you will see them in the crevices of the skin, especially between the fingers. So if you have a rash that looks like little balls, we call them papules in medicine. But if you see those, and they're in a little streak, because they will burrow under the skin and sort of move under the skin. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, but especially between the fingers and the crevices of the skin, that is most likely scabies, and that needs to get treated. The treatment for that is very similar to the treatment to lice, because it is a tiny insect that's getting under the skin.
Well, I know, the kid had to be picked up and was not allowed back in school until she was saying that the policy is they have to produce a doctor's note saying, so and so is safe to come back. But now she had to alert all the parents, and she was just creeped out. Yeah, first day of school. Oh, yeah, that's rough. All right. Anything else going on with kids that you're seeing, just in general, North Carolina kids or kids in your area, sickness wise, healthy wise?
I just want to remind parents. Okay, so this was the first week. Make sure that, as always, I think it's like a litany right now, but that they go to sleep at a reasonable time. I would say that kids between first and fifth grade should be going to school before 9. Those kids, 6th grade on, before 10 or by 10. And then you wake them up a little bit early and you spend a little bit of time with them. Kids just don't have an identity, because as parents, we're just assuming that they can wake themselves up. They are not adults. Kids are not adults. They don't wander around by themselves and know to get themselves up and go get themselves breakfast. Don't assume that children will do that. They're not zombies either, so that you don't need to leave them just walk through life. So as parents, make sure that you do all those extra things. Wake them up. Make sure to give them nice kisses. So make sure that and not if they deserve them. And no matter what, you just give them the affection that they need, and they all need it. And they spend a little time with you, so that they know that they are truly loved, and no matter what, at the end of the day, they will come back to you, and that they are loved in their home. And each kid needs that, and that's important for them to go away with that message.
That's excellent advice.
Excellent
Advice. Yes. Well, Dr. Rose, we really appreciate you calling in. Now that I've made everybody in this room itch.
I know. I was like, wait till commercial time. Wait till commercial. Oh, God.
I think she's going to fight me now, but it's all good.
Lice and scabies.
Well, it's important. I mean, school is back, and these are things people don't think about, and that is a real thing.
True.
And can cause a huge problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
We
Yes,
don't
I
want
agree
any of
with that.
Yeah, so everybody needs to be educated. That's what we're here to do. Educate.
Wipe them down in alcohol before they go to school.
Put them in a bubble suit and just keep them, like a space suit or something like that. Send them to school like that. Yeah. But
we're going to find
I love you guys.
We're going to find something great and pleasant to talk about next week when you call.
But all right, Dr. Rose.
Anything you guys talk about that's great.
That's
it really is.
Dr. Rose gives excellent advice.
She does.
Good
Always.
tips for parents and everything.
I've learned a lot from her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think I have a lot of people tell me, Dr. Rose, they learn a lot from listening to you.
That's right.
So just so you know.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, you ladies have a great Labor
You
Day,
too.
and we'll talk next week.
And
All right.
Rayford will be back next week.
Yes.
So, yeah, he'll be back in here. Yeah. So, all
Very
right.
nice. You ladies have a good day.
All right,
You
see you
too.
later. Bye. All right, let's take a break, and we'll do some weather when we get back, and continue our talk with Jane Sharma from the Onslow County YMCA. Meanwhile, we're live in local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we've got some weather real
That's
quick
right.
to take care of. So take it away, Lee.
Marine forecast, which is brought to you by Tideline Marine. And today is the last day of the big sale at Tideline Marine. Towable tubes are marked down. And if you think you want to buy a new John boat or a Bay boat, Tideline has a sale for any new boat currently in stock. And we are talking $5,000 off any new boat that you buy today. Along with the savings, Tideline will throw in a bag containing 4 life jackets. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Today, west winds 10 to 15 knots, diminishing 5 to 10 knots late this morning and early afternoon, then becoming southwest late, seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 5 seconds. Thursday, north winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming east in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 8 seconds. And Friday, east winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet.
Today, mostly sunny, high of 90. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 66. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 91. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 69. And on Friday, mostly sunny, high of 89.
Loving it.
And the weekend's looking good according to this now. You know, it may change, but right now, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all say sunny. It doesn't say anything about anything. And they 88 for the high all 3 days. So I'll take it.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't look like there's even a hint of a chance of rain until Tuesday, and that's only 40%. So, I mean, subject to change, but as of right now, we are going to be having an amazing weekend, which is
Yes.
good for Labor Day. Okay, so we are continuing our talk with Jane Sharma, the executive director of the Onslow County YMCA, and we were talking a little bit about the why earlier when we went to our other guests and commercial, et cetera. So, Jane, I want you to pick up where you left off with, you know, educating us basically about, a lot of people around here don't know much about the Onslow County YMCA. So, and
That's
there's people
right.
that do, you
Right.
know, would love to hear this
Because
information.
just like we said earlier, news opened and then COVID hit.
Yep.
So,
But they've maintained strong.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we hope, and we know we have we really are strong, much
Mhm.
stronger, I think, than anybody ever thought that we would be. And I think that's because of the fabric of Onslow County, both leadership and the families that are here, and the need for something like a YMCA here. And a couple of things that people may not know, but we're also a partner with Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission. In our major race that we
Mhm.
do in May is
Mhm.
actually part of their series. And this past spring, I think everybody was really glad to get out. We had 934 runners.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't realize.
Wow.
Wow. That's a lot.
934 runners did clear the arch, as it's called. So that's timed runners that ran. And that race is a certified 5K and 10K race. And then this December, we'll run the Mary Fitness.
Mhm.
And that's also a certified course. So people may not see that about us, but we are more than just youth development. But that race is also a large support of the Girls on the Run and the Stride program.
Mhm.
That pre-COVID, we had 535 children in March of 2020 in 35 programs of Girls on the Run and Stride. And we also have schools in Carteret County, which is part of our service area, that we're doing the Girls on the Run and the Stride programs at. So
Nice.
little things that
Mhm.
people may not know about what the Y does, and we're in dialogue, and we hope we're thinking forward that in early 2023 that we'll step into the healthy living value area of the YMCA with a support program. It's called Live Strong at the YMCA. It is for cancer survivors at any point in their survivorship, because once you have cancer, you are always a survivor.
Mhm.
And it's a 10-week program that's very vetted, medically solid,
Mhm.
to meet the survivor where they're at and bring them back to the best mental and physical health point that they can be. And when I served in another Y, I'll never forget, there was a married couple. He was a banker and she was a retired teacher. And they were going through cancer survivorship, each one of them, prostate cancer and breast cancer recovery. And they came into the program about 3 years after their surgery and their medical recovery. And just the story of a couple being dually survivors.
Mhm.
That is some powerful stuff.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to that in January. And then we also, I'm real excited. We started during COVID, but we applied for the feeding of the children.
Mhm.
And every month during the school year, our children in our programs get after school snacks through the food platform, USDA. And in 1 month, we serve about 66,000 pieces of food
Gosh.
to the
Wow.
children in the
Wow.
after school program. But this fall, mid-fall, and then moving forward, we're going to bring to all of the schools. We only have one school that we serve that's not eligible for a dinner meal, but we're going to start serving a catered dinner to our children in our after-school program.
That's awesome.
And also give them a snack too, because children, a lot of these kids eat maybe at 10:45. They're
Right.
coming to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now with the challenge in the schools and the
Right.
dual bus runs and all, some of these kids, they're not even coming in,
Mhm.
until 4 o'clock. They're hungry.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're
Yeah.
excited to be able to say, hey, you want a dinner? Kids can eat a double dinner.
Right.
We know that.
Yes. Oh, you definitely.
So I think that's exciting, and that's part of our social responsibility. And I also want the public to know and the community to know that we have kind of serendipity, but by design, stepped into if there is a child that is in a foster home. We've Department of Social Services and school social workers and all know that any child that is in a foster home in Onslow
Mhm.
County is welcome into our programs, and we financially assist that child. And
Yeah, I
we're-
was just going to ask you about
Yep.
financial programs that you have to assist those who
Yep.
can't afford it.
Yes, and through the children in foster homes are really special to my heart. I have not fostered a child, but I have seen many children that have been in wonderful foster homes, and I've seen children that have been bounced around in foster homes. So coming into the community new, as a leader, I chose that to be one of our mantras. And the partnership with the school social workers and the partnership with the Department of Social Services for the referrals has been incredible. We run Camp Noah, which is actually Lutheran Social Services of Minnesota. And typically they let an entity do it one summer, but we have been blessed. We did it in 2020, even during COVID.
Mhm.
And then in 21 and 22, they gave us the rights to go back and do it. It is a trauma child that has been identified. It's not necessarily open to the public. We try to pull the children through the referrals of the school social workers and Department of Social Services. And then if a family tells us their story, the child can come into that camp for 5 days. And it is a camp that is to help the children work through their trauma, or what is now known as adverse childhood experiences, and build back resiliency tools.
Okay.
And so that is part of the community support financially that flows through the Y. That is how we use those funds.
Right.
We're very targeted at a balance of earned and contributed revenue, but those type of programs, like I just mentioned, the Live Strong program and Camp Noah and all, that is exactly where the community dollars go.
So my question is, if I had children and I wanted to enroll them in the YMCA, where do I start? How does it work?
You could start by calling the YMCA, and that's 910-333-1416, or go online to you can just do a search. It's New River YMCA, and it will come up and it'll paste you through the links. So we have also something that people may not know. We have preschools, and we have something called a play school. So we take children at 2 and we put them into the play school where they get used to just playing.
Do the school buses drop them off?
No, parents.
Parents do.
The play school for the younger children is 3 hours.
Oh, I
and
see.
the preschool, we have 2 preschool platforms, a 3-day and a 5-day, and that's for 4 hours. And we're contemplating, I feel like next year this time we will have expanded our 0 to 5 population. It may be a couple of different venues. It may be stepping into, because we're a child care desert here in Onslow County, there's more children than slots for care. And we may be talking about stepping forward into that market as well. And then in the brightest part of our future, and this Y will always be a Y, that is what I call Y outside the walls. But the most critical need right now in the community as far as a physical YMCA is an aquatic venue. We have wonderful high school swim teams,
Right.
and they were before COVID going to base to practice and all, and
Yeah.
which is fine. We appreciate the base as a partner and all, but if we can bring an aquatic venue to the county, the swim teams can be part of that.
Right.
And then the other piece is we are a water county, and literally there's very few places that a child can actually take swim lessons. The YMCA is the leader in swim lessons in the sense that we invented them. We have a very strong platform in teaching children to swim. And there's also talking about the support and contribution revenue. We have it's a program, Why of the USA. You hear a lot of dialogue around safety around water for children. And Safety Around Water is a YMCA platform. And the week before the school shut down, that March the 9th, we were partnering with Onslow County Schools. The children were tripping out during the school day, treated it as a field trip, and we brought them onto base to New River,
Right.
and we taught 122 second graders to be safe around water.
Yeah, they had a great pool there. Yes.
So that we hope to get back to that. We took our Clyde Irwin children up to our partner Y, Twin Rivers in New Bern, the last week that we were serving those children, and we got those 40 children through water safety in the summer program.
That's awesome.
So
And that's so important too.
yeah, so I think if the community steps forward, which I feel like it will, we have all the partners and the leaders that can make it happen in the community at the table. And the volunteer side of wanting to bring a new piece of the Y to the community is extremely strong. I look forward to seeing that future come. And part of that, we can have a YMCA swim team. We'll be able to teach swim lessons. There's some dialogue about swimmers like it a little bit cooler, but we do have a population here, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit, maybe move to what we call a second tank, if that's possible, feasible, for a warmer water pool. And you talk about being endorsed by the Arthritis Foundation for warm water exercise. Great to teach children
Yes.
to swim in. So
We can do this, Onslow County. Support your
I
Y.
like warm water pools.
Yes.
Yeah.
but we'll have to find that balance and have to find how we can bring it forward in the best physical, piece that we can with the funding that we hopefully will pull through partnerships to get that built. But I would say that's continuing to grow the platform that we're at, stepping into some other program areas like healthy living and the cancer survivorship, and then stepping into building the future for an aquatic venue. That is what this county needs most.
I agree with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
I always say this, and it's not a negative, but to build a Y that brings more what I call metal and lead. We have so many places that if you want to build your strength and have recovery even, or just be a power bodybuilder and all, you can almost find it on every other corner.
Right.
And so typically people think
There's
of
a
that.
gym on every corner.
Yeah. So the Y is here to fill in the voids and also to enhance what's already here. And I think the aquatic venue will be something that the entire community, no matter what your family fabric is or where you come from or what you have, the Y has something that says in our closing of our mission statement, the last three words are open to all.
Yes, I was just looking at your membership packages, and it starts with youth and goes all the way up to seniors.
Well, that is our Twin Rivers branch.
Okay.
We New River, actually, we don't have memberships
Oh, okay.
because we're program based. Now, when we have a pool, it'll more than likely be a collective effort. So, membership, citizenry, use of it, the school potentially using part of it. We'll see how we best navigate having people come into the facility, but it will be definitely a shared facility. And so membership, you belong at the Y just because you have a membership number. So I'm not sure we'll ever have memberships like the traditional model.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. I've been in the Y for over 33 years, and I've never, ever in my career been as excited about being an executive director of a Y. This is actually very much the best experience I've had in the Y.
Now, did you move here to take that position, or were you already here?
I was living in New Bern, and I've served 5 different associations, as we're called, and I had just come off of a contract as an interim executive with the Birmingham, Alabama Y. And at my point in my life, I wanted to come closer back to family. I'm a North Carolinian by birth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All my siblings, we're total North Carolinians, my parents. And so with my siblings and all, we have to take care of each other. We're not young. And
That's
so
right.
I was like, at this point in my life, I'm going to go back and move to family. So I went to New Bern. And once I moved to New Bern, the former CEO of Eastern Carolina tapped me on the shoulder in April of 2019. And he and I worked together in the YMCA of Greater Richmond. He was an exec, and I was the association leader for all things 0 to 18. So he tapped me on the shoulder. We had talked briefly, and he asked me if I would be willing to come serve in Onslow County. And so
Well, aren't we lucky?
YMCA's, unless you're in a metro area, it really enhances the Y experience to have the executive leadership live in that community.
Absolutely.
And so I come to Onslow County very proudly.
Oh,
So-
well, we're glad you're here.
Yes.
That's great. How about the little free library I hear that you have now?
Yes, we dedicated it at our last board meeting, and it's little free library, gets a lot of use. It's from the one place, the Dolly Parton libraries. And a couple of weeks ago, we dedicated it to a very special person in this community that really, really drives forward the YMCA effort.
Yes,
And
they do.
His wonderful name is Billy Sewell.
Yes, awesome.
And,
He's an awesome pillar of the community, him and his family.
yes. And so we officially dedicated the library. It has his Billy Sewell and family on it. So, and that you'd be surprised because of where the Y building is. It's an old auto repair building.
Right.
And the YMCA raised over $1 million to renovate it and to get us to a positive point. And I'm very proud to say we have paid off the renovation loan. We paid
That's
it off
awesome.
about a year and a half early. And so much of that work collectively with leadership like Billy Sewell and who is the chair of our advisory board and serves on the governing board for the association. He and so many other leaders of really high capacity to get it done, and has the power of the influence to move this Y forward. Like I said, I've been in it 33 years, and I have never, ever served in a community where the desire to bring a YMCA and what it can offer to a community. It's the most phenomenal community I've ever served.
I'm
Really.
telling you, people want it.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I know that. Oh, well, I'll ask you this question after we come back from
Okay.
break.
All right, let's take our break. We're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back, and in the studio we have guest Jane Sharma from the Onslow County YMCA, and she was talking a little bit about some exciting things about that, and letting people know exactly what our YMCA here does and wants to do and plans to do.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, I know that you have membership fees, and I know that you bring in revenue from grants, et cetera. Do you have a yearly fundraiser that you do to bring in money?
We haven't had that yet.
Right.
What that will happen is because we had our capital campaign where the community donors were supporting the ability to renovate the building that we're in. The building we're in belongs to the city. Now that that capital campaign is behind us in 2023, you will see us more than likely have what's called in the YMCA an annual campaign.
Right. Right. Exactly. Now, if someone like me wanted
Mhm.
to donate to the YMCA, how would we do that?
We do have a annual campaign.
Right.
You would make a contribution to the YMCA. We're a 501c3, so it's tax deductible, and we use it very much for the programs that I've talked about, in the sense that, like the cancer survivor program and the safety around water for children, the Camp NOAA, the trauma resiliency for the camp.
Mhm.
That is how we have been blessed to have a balance between earned revenue through our program fees. But I will say, and I have to measure this, in 2021, I know for a fact that the YMCA literally put $278,000 of financial assistance into Onslow County.
That's
And
great.
what
That's
that
awesome.
means is, if a family demonstrates the need,
Yeah.
it's a comfortable process.
Mhm.
Don't feel like it's going to be like a lot of paperwork and a lot of questions.
Mhm.
The way I feel about it, yes, there's some parameters that we look at, but sometimes the story doesn't match the financial condition of the family. There are some situations where you might be a high income family unit,
Mhm.
but now you have something going on in your family that is pulling some of what you have known as a norm away. So there's always a story behind the financial assistance. And so more than likely, we have to vet it in the sense that donors want their dollars to be used wisely.
Right.
But we take our financial assistance capacity very serious. I'll tell a personal story. A lot of people don't know this, but I would not be sitting here today talking about a YMCA as an executive director. I was a stay-at-home mom, married to a Baptist preacher, and I was going crazy because I had been a working person, wanted to do the right thing, stayed home, all that fun stuff you do in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I had to get out.
Mhm.
And there was a Y in Franklin, Virginia. I was living in Suffolk, so my daughter and I, we went to the Franklin YMCA because I saw the sign out front. It said 50% off joining fee. And I thought, oh, maybe we can afford it. That's great. Maybe it's a little cheaper now, because we couldn't afford it.
Mhm.
So I go into the Y and I go up to the desk and I inquire, and this person, I can see her face clear as I'm sitting here. She tells me how much it's going to cost every month for us to be a YMCA member as a family. And I'm like, we can't afford that. Because I didn't know anything about the Y. I had never been a piece of the Y, because in the DC area, particularly, they have large parks and rec centers. But the person at the desk, when I said, well, I said, then we can't do it. Thank you. She did not let me walk out the door. She said, hold on, let me talk to somebody. So she went and got the executive director. His name was Tom Pearson. And I told him who I was and what I wanted, and I have a 3-year-old and all that good stuff. And he just said, don't worry about it. We got it.
Oh,
Didn't even ask questions. He said, don't worry about it. We got it. And so that was like in October of that year. And I will never forget Tom Pearson saying, just it kept my pride,
Yeah.
and the way that he said it,
Mhm.
it changed my life,
Mhm.
because I had been teaching second and third grade
Mhm.
and all that, and I'd come out of education and all that kind of stuff. And in April of the next year, like 7 months later, I get a call from somebody that knew me in the community, and she was a membership director at the Suffolk YMCA. And she called me and she said, Jane, we want to start childcare at the YMCA. Would you be interested? If I had not been welcomed through financial assistance into the Y, I would not have known the power of the Y for those
Mhm.
7 months.
Wow.
So I tell that story because
You don't know.
you just
Yeah.
never know.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just never know.
The impact.
And it was that one
Absolutely. Yeah.
fateful day that you
Mhm.
went to
Yep.
the Y
Mhm.
and changed your life forever.
Mhm.
And that's how those contributed dollars make a measurable difference.
Absolutely.
I'm very,
Yes.
very solid
Mhm.
that if you are a donor, I can easily and with pure clarity show you how your dollars were used. Like I can say to you with the Camp Noah. Camp Noah is an expensive piece.
Mhm.
We serve up to 50 children, and that week cost us literally $25,000.
Mhm.
That's not our price. That's what we serve through Lutheran Social Services for their curriculum, for their
Mhm.
brand, for everything. So I can say to you, if you make a gift of $1,000, that's a way that $1,000 would be used,
Right.
because we've been blessed with our revenue capacity
Mhm.
to support the backbone kind of thing of what people think of the Y. But when it comes to those donor dollars, it really gives us the capacity to serve where the greatest need is at.
Well, I definitely want to encourage everyone to donate to the local YMCA here
Absolutely.
to help get these programs up and running a little more for more people, and to help them grow the YMCA. Because, like I said, I have a vision of this YMCA becoming a very big YMCA, and
Yeah,
I think
I
a
do
lot of people
too.
would like to see that.
Well, when we come
So-
back from the commercial, I want to ask you about volunteering.
Okay. All right. We're live in local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back for our final few minutes. We are going to wrap up with Jane Sharma, the Executive Director of the Onslow County YMCA. So what are some last things you want everyone to know?
I want everybody to take away that this Y has a really bright future. And like I've said, I have never seen a community circle a Y like they have circled the Onslow County Y with leadership and also the need for the services that we're bringing. And I would encourage if there's opportunities to be a volunteer. We run the Safety Around Water, where we will take second graders during the school day to learn how to be safe in the water. That's a volunteer led with staff oversight. And then hopefully we'll move into something beginning in the school years called Bright Beginnings. And that's where we partner an adult and child. And we partner with like Target or Walmart. And you literally, the children, a lot of times in children, they get, they don't know what a new shirt looks like.
Mm.
And so Bright Beginnings started because there was a woman in Richmond, Virginia, and she said every child deserves to open up a new box of crayons and have that new crayon smell.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And
Yeah.
I
so
agree.
the crayon box is a symbol of bright beginnings for our youth. And I think the Onslow County YMCA is also a symbol to the youth in our county. We're a very youth heavy county.
Correct.
And so,
Yes.
Youngest in the state.
yep.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
Well, we really appreciate you coming
Yes.
in here and
I love learning
Yeah.
about the Y.
and I thank you for educating us as well as the public on the Onslow County YMCA. For those that did not know much about it, I know there have been people who have questions. So this has been very, very good and very informative. And we really appreciate you taking your time. And we will definitely have you in here again.
Yes.
Um,
And any future events you have coming up, just text me.
absolutely.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
make sure we'll get it on the air for you, or you're welcome to call in
Mhm.
and discuss it. So, and come back anytime you want to. Onslow County is a great place to live. People just love helping people here, and that's what I love so much about this community. So I see the YMCA going places here.
I do too. Yes.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for
It
being
was
here.
our pleasure.
All right, we want to thank everyone for listening today. We've had a good show this morning, and we thank you for, having us be a part of your morning. I want everyone to have a very safe and wonderful Wednesday. It looks like it's going to be a sunny one, kind of warm, but
be
it's not
beautiful.
raining, so that's a good thing. We will be with you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Please join us, 97.1 and 1120 a.m. WSME, as well as 971 WSME971.com and our YouTube channel as well. So there's plenty of ways to reach us. Everyone have a safe day, and we will see you in the morning.